Hi everyone, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen. And I've done some renos in here, which you can see behind me, for those of you that have seen my videos before. And I'm trying out some new lighting stuff here, so we're getting very glamorous. Not really, but I'm working on it. So today it's about stir fry. Now, many moons ago, I had a Chinese restaurant, which was Szechuan in style. And I went and worked in a Chinese kitchen for a couple of weeks so that I could figure out exactly what their technique was and how they were able to come up with such an amazing product. And I have to tell you right now that after working with a professional wok, which puts out like 150,000 BTUs versus like 2,000 BTUs on a gas stove, there is no way you will ever recreate stir fry at home the way that they do it in a professional Chinese restaurant with a wok. However, I have come up with a cheat. So I've broken it out into two stages because one of the things I'm looking for when I have a stir fry is, obviously I want a good flavor and a good balance, but a lot of it is about texture. It's a lot about how crisp the vegetables are, not raw, okay, but nice and crisp, al dente if you will. With and for me, because I'm an omnivore, quite often I want to have a good animal protein involved in the recipe as well. So in this recipe I'm using a store-bought chicken. It's already been roasted, which I think personally works just great. You can go and roast your own chicken and do it, or you can go down to a Chinese market and get roasted duck or barbecue pork or things like that if you want to do an add-on, or if you want to leave that protein out completely and make it strictly vegetarian. This video will guide you through that. So my little easy bake oven that I have, electric stove, will not ever put out the amount of energy that is needed to cook a nice stir fry that stays nice and crispy. So what we've done is broken it into two different parts, as I mentioned. I'm going to show you how to take the densest vegetables and start with them first on a steamer. Now this sounds complicated, but honestly it's a 30-minute meal. You just have to be organized as usual. It's about your mise en place, getting your stuff done. The longest part about this recipe actually is chopping the vegetables. Once you've chopped your vegetables, your produce is done, then it's all the fun begins. You just either put some of it into a steamer based on, again, the density, like carrots, which take longer, or celery, which take a little bit shorter, or you use your mushrooms, which I don't actually put in the steamer. I put onions and mushrooms in the pan because I want some caramelization, and then I meld the two together. Now, again, I know it sounds kind of confusing, but honestly, once you see the video all the way through, you'll know what I'm talking about. The other thing about this is that you have the power to mix and match what you want. And what I mean that is your vegetables, whatever you want to use, whatever your favorites are. You can use bok choy, you can use Shanghai choy, you can use carrots, not use broccoli, whatever you want to put in. You want to make it very simple and only have 3 vegetables, great. Then it comes to all the flavoring. So sesame seed oil is big, fish sauce is big. My wife and I, we like to have some spice in there, so I use chili crisp or sriracha or both. Again, you can use fresh chilies and put them in as well. And you can use hoisin. I mean, there's so many combinations. That's going to be half the fun of it for you, I think, is to figure out which combinations of sauces that you want to put together. And going back to the fundamentals, it's all about making sure that you steam your vegetables al dente, add them into the protein at the last minute, and you'll see what I mean at the end. Anyway, I hope this hasn't been, or my explanation hasn't been too confusing, but if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So here we go. Okay, so let's start with the ingredients. Obviously carrots, garlic, got ginger, broccoli, mushrooms, Shanghai choy, which is like bok choy, but a little bit milder, and some say has kind of a celery flavor to it. I can't really tell that much on it, but I like it and I like the texture. And we've got chicken that I took from the market. I was able to debone this within 3 minutes. And I'm going to do a video on that to show how quick easy that is if you want to use an animal protein, or you can leave it out and make it vegetarian. And then I've got bean sprouts, avocado oil, Maggi. I'm using Maggi instead of soy because I prefer the flavor. And I'm using Chinese chili crisp because I want to make it hot for my lovely partner, Linda. And we've got hoisin. I use the hoisin because it's kind of sweet, but not too sweet. I don't have to add honey or anything like that to it. And sesame oil is a traditional fixture when it comes to stir fry. And then, of course, a little bit of fish sauce. So these are the basic ingredients to make a stir fry. Now, as I said before, you can mix and match. Oh, and yellow pepper, I forgot that. You can mix and match, but I'm just giving you the basic fundamentals. And I'm going to prep all of this, and once it's all prepped, we'll take a look at it. So, sorry, oopsies, forgot, I also wanted to add onions. You don't have to, like I said, these are all things you can mix and match as you like, but I decided that I wanted to put onions in it as well. So here you go, here are the onions. Okay, so I've set my pan. I'm going to put some avocado oil in. I have the heater at about 70%. And I'm throwing in the carrots and the broccoli for about 3 minutes. Okay, we've got a couple minutes gone by. I'm going to throw the yellow peppers in on the steamer. And I'm now going to throw the onions in. And it's at 3/4 heat. I'm going to throw the mushrooms in at the same time. We're going to let this cook. And I'm going to turn off the heat on the steamer because it's going to continue to cook for me. I don't want them to be mushy. We'll come back when this is reduced a bit. So we've done a bit of a reduction here. And what's kind of interesting is that the moisture from the mushrooms have assisted in the braising of the onions, or the caramelization of the onions as well, which I hadn't thought about before. But so now I'm going to put the chicken in. And I'm going to start with some of the addition of the flavonoids here. We're going to put some Maggi. And I'm putting that in first, as opposed to soy. It's going to get absorbed into the chicken as well as the onion and the mushroom. You can already see the color changing on that. And the vegetables that I had steaming earlier, which are now resting, well, not resting, but I turned the heat off a while ago. I'm going to take them from the steamer and I'm putting them straight in. Look at the color. It's amazing. So the carrots are al dente right now, and so is the broccoli. Yellow peppers, same thing. At this point, nothing is overcooked. So I'm going to add some sesame seed oil. And you do not want to use too much of this because it's very powerful. So maybe a teaspoon. And then flip it around. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And because this is for Linda and I, we're now going to add some heat. Now you don't have to. This is all of this is optional. This is the great thing about doing stir fry, is you can mix and match as you like. And I'm putting in chili crisp. And I'm going to put some sriracha, which is pretty spicy. You could leave all of this out if you want, but that's what she likes. And then for a little bit of sweetness, which is what I like, I'm going to add some hoisin. Now, before I start to flip this, I'm going to throw in the ginger. As I mentioned before, I did this on a microplane. So there's a lot of depth to this. So I prefer to just stir this with a spoon first. And then once I get it going, then I'm going to flip that to get it well mixed. And then we've got the bok choy. Some of the pieces are kind of big, so I'm just going to tear them up. Put a lid on that. That's going to wilt really fast, so I'm not worried about it. And then if you're wondering where the garlic is, it's coming, but I always put the garlic in last because I hate burnt garlic. It gets really bitter. And this is going to wilt quite quickly. Before I stir this up, put a little bit of fish sauce in. Now, these are all optional. Again, it's just a format of what you want to do here. But I like my vegetables crisp, lots of flavor. There you go. Wow. Now that's pretty spectacular, even if I say so myself. What should I do? Let's try this. Yeah. You know, this is what I love about stir fry. So much depth. So quick, so easy. And I'm throwing my chopped garlic in now. Stir that around a bit. You know, this is pretty spectacular. Even if, like I said, even if I say so myself. I do love this so much. And I've got some bean sprouts, which I've washed. And you know what I'm going to do is when I plate this, I'm going to put the bean sprouts on top so they're nice and crispy. And we'll be right back because this is pretty much done. So here we have steaming stir fry. And I'm just going to put the bean sprouts on top. And I know you can't smell this, but I have to tell you, this has a lot of depth, great textures. I really hope you enjoy this, and please subscribe. Thank you.